what I was saying. You know, it to me it meant so much that it was actually Kota Ibushi that you took the title from because, dude, I'm in school. I had like gym class. I was in high school, and I'm watching Wrestle Kingdom, and it's you and Kota Ibushi, and and I'm on this treadmill. I'm like on the treadmill. I'm half-assing it because I want to watch this match, but I can't let my teacher know that I'm watching wrestling in class, and I'm watching you win. And the loudest scream that I had when you won, I had detention after that. They were like, "Oh, you watching? What are you watching?" I'm like, I'm watching wrestling." And they're like, "All right, go to detention." So it's like I'll take that anytime because that to see you and Kota Ibushi, that's always like historic to me. And the fact that you got the title off him was insane, and you know, amazingly done storyline telling because you two, like you said, you guys are very equal. You guys are very in the same category. You both were, you know, juniors, heavyweights. No, you guys are moving up together. You guys are both the future of what New Japan is holding right now. So we are the current now. You guys are the current now. You were the future. Now you're the current at this point. So let's talk about Wrestle Kingdom. Let's talk about Okada. You know, that was the moment. That was the main event thing. You know, Wrestle Kingdom. So I have a question. Because I want to remember this. You were supposed to be an event with Okada. Then COVID happened. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. So here's what happened. Like, I wrestled Shingo, and like to be honest with you, I've been carrying around so many nagging injuries. It was just to the point where I wasn't healthy. I really wasn't. I was like, I'm very good at masking a lot of my injuries. I'm very good at just like going out there. Like I'll even say it. I'll be like, "Oh, I've got a torn shoulder, and I'm still going," but people would be like, "Oh, he's fine. Just keeps going." Over exaggerates. And I got hurt with Shingo, and it wasn't just my neck; it was my back as well. Like if you look at when I do my match with Shingo, I do a shooting star press on him. It's a little bit too far out, and as I hit, I just do that, and my back just pops. And I honestly, to this day, I can remember the pain because it felt like somebody was like burning me. Felt like somebody was like lighting me on fire, and I still had to do another 25 minutes on after that. I didn't realize how bad it was, and then obviously COVID happened real bad in Japan, which postponed the Tokyo Dome show. Was meant to be me and Okada, so then obviously they had to move that back. But then I honestly was in agony. Like I was like at points I was getting out of bed and I couldn't stand up properly, and it was like I could stand up, but it was almost like I had like the old like I don't know, like I can't explain it at all, but it was just I felt like I was in a car crash, and then I wanted to go get checked out properly, and I wanted to do it for my own back, and New Japan saw how bad I was, so they said, "All right, we're going to send you home." So I got sent home. I'd done all the tests, and it was a very bad injury, and I will not discuss how bad it was, but they said it is fixable, and we can get you back in 4 months. So from there, I was like, right, 4 months game on. My diet was like, and once again, I'm depressed, dude. I'm going through mad party stages to like hide how sad I am. I'm just partying hard, but like I'm also like focusing so hard on like my diet and my workouts and everything along those lines. And then within the first week, I got the title taken off of me. I was just, guys, I just need 4 months off. That was it. So there was that part of me that was angry because like there's John Moxley, and like I've got a lot to say about John Moxley, but it's just like Moxley just has like fucking year off actively competing, but doesn't defend the title once. But yet New Japan are like, "Oh no, he's fine." It's just like, but no, you've got to take the guy that's like actually broke his back for the company, actually done all the neck injury for his company, carried on doing all that. Just need 4 months off, 4 freaking months off. But you just take the title off me, Q. Then like, so that's the kind of like I was kind of angry. But once again, I get it. You guys need a fighting champion, but like, just. If you're going to do it with Moxley, then do it with the guy that's always going to be here. Like, Moxley's just a part-timer. I'm here. There's nothing against Moxley, like, whatever. Like, I couldn't care less about the guy. Like, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, I mean, I'm the guy that's going to be here. Like, I'm going to be busting my ass off. So that's why I made a statement of saying, no, until you notice me as the interim champion, as the real championship, I ain't coming back to Japan. Like I'll perform over here, I'll perform in America. I ain't gonna do it anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? That's me taking my stand. And I showed up in Ireland with that belt, in the United Kingdom, in America, in Japan. Like I showed up everywhere with that belt. I actually made it a world title where Shingo's title could have been called like a national title at best. So like I made it a world championship, and that's why it's the real world championship. So then it finally got to the point where Okada won the G1 in a strange fashion with dislocating his shoulder. referee stopping the match for both competitors' safety. And then it was a case of going, well, there's 3 guys walking around with belts. So now we need to sort this out. And if you want a job done right, if New Japan ain't going to do it, you know what? I'll strap on my boots. I'm going to go main event at Tokyo Dome. And what a main event I fucking did.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment, because like you said, you came at Resurgence, if I'm not wrong, that was what it was called, New Japan Strong. And when you talked about, that gangster mentality, it's so, when you did it with the drink, when you in your hand, watching matches, I could tell what you were going for when you wore the suit, when you were trying to become the actual bad guy, where you gelled up your hair back, put on the glasses, had the martini or something in your hand, had the gold watch.
No, the Rolex broke. Jesus,
oh yeah, you threw that shit. You threw that shit out the. Yeah.
I regret that now. I'm not gonna
well, that was one of the questions. Do you regret that? All right. So you did so much in your year being in the States, you traveling, not being in Japan at the time, you showing off that you're the real champion, and if New Japan can acknowledge that, you're going to make sure the world acknowledges that. So you did that by showing up in New York, fighting Amazing Red, Rev Pro, battling Doug Williams, and so many other men, and, in 6-man action, and tag action. So it's like, you've done so much, what was going through your head at that time? Like, I'm not losing. I'm going everywhere, battling everybody. What's next for me? Because no one can beat me.
Dude, honestly, I thought I was the shit. I thought I was honestly the real deal. I thought I was honestly, think about it. In the entire of 2021, I lost one singles match. The entirety. I have a 99% winning streak at that point, which is just, that's unheard of. So it's just, I honestly thought I was a billy goat. So there was no one telling me otherwise. I'd proven myself against literally all the best guys. And it's just, there's parts of me that's just I still want more respect. And I still want it just because, no one else was doing it. Tell me honestly, somebody who was traveling all around the world, defending belts, or just traveling all around the world during a fucking pandemic. Do you know what? This is how high I put myself as a standard right now. In August, when Resurgence happened, right, British people couldn't enter America because America locked down. They weren't allowed to do it. The only way you can access America is if you had a special request visa. And do you know what they said to me on the phone? The only way we're getting this if you're Elton John. Motherfucker,
you said that.
Motherfucker, I got there. I am literally Elton John, mate. I had the Elton John treatment. So I got there. And that's literally what they told me on the phone. They went, the only way you're coming in is if you're Elton John. I got there. So, mate, there's the things that I literally travelled. And just it's not a shot towards them, but did Kenny travel? No. Did Brian travel? No. Punk travel? No. Mox travel? No. Who else is considered the best in the world these days? Christian actually did one UK show. One, great. But it's just come on, lads. No one travelled more than me. During a fucking global pandemic, I was the real world champion. I held championships in 3 different continents at the same time. Unheard of. Literally done it. I mean, obviously it's heard of when, guys like Austin Aries and Ultimo Dragon did it. But they didn't do it in a fucking global pandemic. People were dying all around me, yet there's me with all my gold strutting down the airports, fucking looking like an actual sex pig, walking and talking as a champion. No one did it. No one is ever going to do it, and I deserve more respect for it.
No, you definitely do. And we got to talk about, the titles that you've won, and one of them is the Warrior Wrestling Championship that you're still currently holding. And what 2 matches you already had to for that title? You had Triple Threat with Blake Christian, Trey Miguel, where you won the title. And that it wasn't a shock that you won because, again, you were there much longer before them. You're much more experienced. At that point, it was just hey, you guys are calling out my name. Here's what you get when you call out my name. This is what happens type of thing. And you got the title. And then Brian Cage, where it's I bet that even for you, that was probably one of the matches that you really wanted. He definitely wanted it. And then to have that, and it was so good that people are writing about it and people are posting about it. It's insane. What an amazing title run you're having currently. It's phenomenal.
Well, it's because it's anytime you use Will Ospreay and you put him under the microscope and you give him that platform, I deliver. I am the effing UPS man. Like, I will always deliver, mate. So it's one of those things where just like, I'll happily say it. Brian Cage, hell of an athlete. Like, what, like, same as Blake Christian, same as Trey Miguel. But just like, you just got to realise, like, it's like, as good as you guys are, I'm on another level. And it's not a catchphrase. It's not a catchphrase at all. I am just operating on an entire different level that no one can operate on right now.
Yeah, and you also beat Alex Zane. It was on New Japan, in soil. That was your own hometown. And
another boy, just another guy who's just like, he's talked about, and he's good, he's real good. But I'm just on another level. Like, the only guys that are on my level now are Ricardo. That's the only guy that's beaten me. So, like, and that's the thing. I'm happy to say that. I'm happy to sit here in this lovely little spinny chair thing. I'm happy to say he's next level. But one of these days, I'm going to beat him. I'm 28 years old. That scares people. I had a conversation with my mate Dan Malone the other day. And he said, like, because honestly, I was saying to him, like, I don't know how much more I want to keep doing this. I would like to just get my country, adopt a bunch of rescue dogs, and I'm done. But he went, but honestly, what percentage of Will Ospreay are you at now? And he went, if you could just give me a percentage, what would you be? And I thought about it for like 2 minutes. I sat there in silence. And he kept saying, what percentage? I went, 60? And he went, so you're telling me there's still 40% to come? And that stuck in my head for ages. I haven't even scratched the surface of what I can do. And that scares me. That scares me because I don't know the power that I can behold. It's like some mad villain, Black Spider-Man, like Venom Spider-Man symbiote shit. Like, I'm only just discovering this power. And I think I can keep it under control and keep growing and growing and growing. I think that's going to scare a lot of people.
I can only say I can't wait to see what I hope it's something affecting anyone outside New Japan, but I cannot wait to see what you have in the works for the United Empire and everything with it. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But like I said, Temple Warrior Wrestling for a second, and just because I want to know your thoughts on this, outside of, because we always hear him talk, we don't hear you talk as much, Casey Navarro. And I know it's even like, to even bring up his name, it's like, he obviously has not been in the game longer than you, experienced very less, lesson than that. What's your take on him just coming out and trying to make a name out of himself by challenging you or trying to scare you by showing up after your match and waving around a necklace, I think is what it is.
Medallion, I think it's called. But like, no, admire it. I think he's got balls. Like, fair play to him. Like, I don't know how old he is, but like, whatever age, like, I mean, I'm sure he's got his dad accompanying to his shows and stuff like that, and I'm sure his dad dresses him or whatever. But just like, at that age, I want to step to the big dog. I wouldn't have stepped up. So I respect it and fair play to you. But just remember, when you step up, I'm going to knock you back down. And it's not just going to be one step. It's going to be a hell of a lot. You need to learn the game, son. And when you're in a ring with a man like me, the only British person to ever hold the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm going to talk my shit. Because it's like, there are so many amazing British wrestlers out there. Drew McIntyre and all of them, they haven't done what I've done. There will always be a debate. When there is, who is the best in the world? It's debatable. Everyone can debate it. But when it comes to who is the greatest British wrestler that has ever lived, it's me. And there isn't a debate about it. So if you want to test yourself against the greatest British wrestler, fair enough. You're more than welcome to. Cash it in whenever you want. After a match, before a match, even in a different company. Do what you like, son. Sort yourself out. I'll happily knock you down a peg or two. I've been doing it my entire life. You ain't scaring me, mate.
And so one more thing I want to talk about with Warrior Wrestling is you made a really cool speech talking about how you're not going to show up March, possibly April, possibly May, whenever your schedule gets freed up. You don't want to come alone. So are we going to see you bring the United Empire the next time you show up? The next time? Or is it sometime in the future?
Sometime in the future. We'll put it that way.
All right, fair enough. All right, so let's get back to this. Again, such amazing stuff that you're going on right now this year. One thing I did want to bring up is I forgot, and it's when you posted the photo of you winning the IWGP Championship, having multiple titles. you said something about AJ. AJ, messaged you or you spoke to him or something. I want to know the story because I know you love telling. I know this is like an amazing achievement from one of your favorite wrestlers, acknowledging the fact that you are the next version, and he like called it out too. Like you said, like you're becoming, me. You're becoming the legacy. So talk to me about that.
Man, he just said he's proud. And that's all that needs to be said. Like, I mean, I don't keep in contact with that much of AJ because we don't really know each other. But it's just like he knows how much I have him as a platform. How much I look up that guy. I think he's just. I honestly can't tell you enough. Like, he's the sole reason I became a professional wrestler. He's AJ. Like, the rest of them, like guys like Amazing Red, got nothing but good things to say about him. Guys like just. Man, I could go on all day, right? But AJ was just the one. And the fact is that after I won that belt, messaged me just saying I'm proud of you. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Roll the credits. Like, there was so much more left to be done. And just like I'm creating my own legacy. And just like I can't wait for us, because that's the thing, is that you can happily say like people know of you. But that's cool. But now like the world needs to know about it. And it's fine right now. Like, I understand there's a global pandemic, and like, trust me on this. Like, I know the situation, but like, in time. So remember, when AJ won that title, he was in his late 30s. When Kenny won that title, he was in his mid 30s, and not even hit 30 yet. That's terrifying. And I've still got so much in the tank. And you can go, oh, he got injured. He's constantly hurt. I constantly adapt and I get better. That's terrifying. I'm like a fucking Wolverine. I'm a weird X-Men. I will constantly evolve and heal all of these wounds, come back better, and I'll have more gold around me. I'm the type of guy that doesn't always have gold on him. I've got gold watches, gold necklaces. I love Louis Vuitton stuff. I love Versace stuff. I love gold, right? It just speaks volumes. I'm a belt slut. I love having belts on me. I'm just one of these guys that I walk around. I'm just going to be just picking up belts as I go. I might lose a couple along the way, and that's fine. I can admit when I'm not the better man. But the reality is, a 28-year-old kid, it's still right. That's it. I'm the man now. A 28-year-old man is walking around only professional wrestling. Doesn't that scare you a little bit?
The fact that you're only 28 and done so much, it scares me to know. The only thing that scares me, honestly, is when you'd want to leave. You know what I mean? Because it's always the worst day when the wrestler goes, well, I'm done. You know what I mean? I've done everything. That's the scariest thing. Like, when are you gonna say I'm done with this? That's probably the scariest thing to me. And it's been mentioned. You've said it at like, occasions where it's like, I can leave now. I'm happy. I've done it all. I've been in MSG, been in Tokyo Dome, been Melbourne. I can leave now. I'm still here.
That comes from just because of what happened when I went home. Mm-hmm. Just I can't say enough, man. Like, I love wrestling at Tokyo Dome. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the full thing, and that's what annoys me. It was just like it was the noise that I was missing. I'm missing the noise, even though it was making them make noise, and you could hear them making noise. It still wasn't the full thing. So I'm not going to leave until that is done. But then when I came home, and I'm standing on that stage, and I'm going against someone who's literally my best friend, Paul Robinson, who I'm sure he's not going to mind me telling people, but like had a suicide attempt a little while ago. And I've been there day in and day out making sure that man is okay. And I could honestly, I could go on a whole tirade about how much I can't stand the company that did it to him. And I'll happily, if anyone asked me outside of this interview about that company, I would say whatever guy did that to him, if I saw him, I'd probably slap him. But it's just that man has done so much for me. And when I came back with my injury, he was there for me throughout the entire thing. And he went through his own demons and he's now coming out the other side of it. And I'm proud that I was on that side of him and I was helping him out the entire way. And now he's back wrestling, he's back in that ring because everything is all cleared up and everyone now knows the truth, which is an incredible thing that the truth is now being told about him. And it was just an amazing feeling walking out the curtain. And although that there were wrestling fans, there were fans that I saw wearing United Empire t-shirts. I looked over here, I saw my school friends. I looked over there, I saw all the people that used to watch me when I was a 14-year-old kid. I looked directly opposite, I could see my mum and dad. I looked around, I could see the people that I used to dance with. I looked around and I see the people I used to backyard with. And everyone stood up. And honestly, there was tears going down my eyes, man. And it was at that point, honestly, if it was a movie and you saw everything, we just talked about this entire thing and it was played as a movie. And the moment I walked through that curtain, I just want 30 seconds of me standing there. And then I'd want you to end roll credits. The movie's done. That was one of the greatest moments of my entire life. And it happened in some school hall in Raynham. Surrounded by my closest friends and family. I can't ask for anything more.
Unbelievable. That I saw that. You told it, I was listening, and I just visioned it. And I watched the match, and everyone can watch it. Code Will to get I forgot how free it is, but Code Will.
It's like free plays, it's on Powered Forward TV.
But there's a code, right? Code's Code Will,
Yeah.
and
Code Will.
Yeah, everyone should check it out. Wonderful match, insane. Especially just the story that you guys like. It's even the story itself that you guys had. I remember I'm at work and I see you posted a video about like the interview you had, a smaller interview you had where you talked about it. And Paul did his thing. Such a insane.
And it's like the reason why we use the word tap out instead of suicide attempt is because obviously we're performing to a family crowd. And I don't want to trigger people. So if you wouldn't mind putting like a little trigger warning before this as well. But just because it is, people just need to understand, like, just like I was there throughout the entire thing, especially like his incident. I was there, like literally there. Guy did nothing wrong, actually did a lot to actually try and help the situation. And I think he got thrown under the bus, and even the mum even said he got thrown under the bus and he didn't deserve it. And it was just like one of those things where just like, that's my brother. That guy has been there through thick and thin with me. I have a voice message on my phone from him. And I click on there. Every now and again I play it. And it is just him just saying thank you. And it is just like that makes me feel like he's going to be okay. He's going to be safe. And that's the main thing I take away from that. And it's just that is the closest thing that we could have told to the actual story. And I think everyone kind of understood when I mentioned you tried to tap out. I think everybody kind of understood why I was going with. But like, it was a real, genuine, emotional connection story that needed to be told because it just needs to be told. Like, I hate this thing of not knowing. And his whole side of things, like, it needed to be told and it needs to be shown that he's like, you could be the biggest, toughest mother effer going on the planet. But, like, he needed his little brother. And here I am.
That's insane. Like I said, anyone can find you or his story through YouTube and multiple matches you guys had much younger in the back when you're wearing just trunks that are like white and green and just it's amazing. Like you guys have so much history and to see it even now this year continue is absolutely wonderful. And that's what wrestling's all about. It's truly special and what a story and what a way to come back. You know what I mean? What a way to really do everything. So you talked about titles. I want to mention this because this is what people are mainly like going to be asking on Twitter and all this, and it's up to you how you want to respond to this. Sammy Guevara called you out, and that's not a shock. I don't know how many wrestlers call you out. So many wrestlers call you out at this point. Sammy Guevara called you out. He's TNT champion. That's a title. I don't know if you want it. You and CM Punk. So I'm gonna go in order. You can answer however you want. CM Punk and you were having conversations before he officially returned to wrestling, and now that he did return to wrestling, there's like silence. From what we know, there's silence. We don't know if he actually talked to you back. It's kind of like he's scared, kind of like now that he's back, he doesn't want to face the Commonwealth Kingpin. There's so many guys, and then it's the main thing of like Impact and what they're doing with New Japan having guys like Finn Juice, Bullet Club, Nagata, all this, and then most importantly Mox, who didn't acknowledge you in the promo package. You even acknowledged him at Rev Pro, talking about you better acknowledge me. This is so like let's get in order because these are the guys that are so called leading, but like obviously you're here, they're not, but they're calling out your name. So let's get to to this
This-
order.
I could literally just put all into one. Get to it, get in line. I'll get to you when I get to you. Like the Mox thing, though. Like I'm glad you brought up the Mox thing because honestly, that pissed me off more than anything. The fact that he didn't mention my name, like honestly, infuriated me. Because it's like you can mention Okada, 100%. You can mention Tanahashi, the guy that got us out of the dark ages. You can mention Shingo for the back-breaking work that he did during that pandemic. But mention me. I'm the only person there who's putting on banger after banger after banger after banger. No one can touch me. So if you want to wrestle the best wrestlers in New Japan, you mention my name. That's all you got to do. I'm going to see you in Windy City. What is it? The 16th of April.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. Maybe I need guys to say some words to him. Maybe I need to go, hey, pick a hand, motherfucker.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, so Moxley, that story is, on its own, is going to be told, in Windy City, because you're going to be there, he's going to be there. If you have a bone to pick with him, you'll be... Say it again?
I'm going to slap him.
Perfectly said. But help me out here. I do want to know what the CM Punk thing, because that was such a big mention when you said it the first time, how, you and him were talking. Now that he's back, has he ever got back to you on that?
Yeah. He called me out. Like I didn't mention his name. He's retired for it. Like he called me out. But what do you want me to do about it? Like you're Tony Khan's best mate. Like I've had one conversation with Tony Khan, literally one. And he's a lovely man, actually a very polite gentleman. And it was after my match with Pac. And he literally just said, it was just one of those things. He came up and went, that match was 5 stars. I went, thank you very much, mate. And he went into other things that don't need to be put out onto the air. Mm-hmm. But just other than that, nothing but respect from Mr. Khan. Thank you very much, man. Like, you're a good dude. Like, what you're doing for professional wrestling, love it. I absolutely love it. I'm a fan. I'm sitting here, I am a fan of it, my man. Like, just congratulations. But just like, Punk's your best man. If he wants an actual challenge, I'm here. I'm ready. I am the Commonwealth Kingpin. I am the Billy Goat. No one's been putting on these matches. I have. You want the big money match? I'm right here.
And for Sammy's case, since he called you out, he has to come to you, right? You're not gonna go to him. You're just gonna he has to come to you if he wants to smash.
But I like Sammy. Like, honestly, I'll tell you this now. I really like Sammy. He's a good dude. Like I love talking to him. I've had a lot of chats with him. I even dropped him a message because Jonah put something up on Twitter just being something like Nova do springboard cutters. I'm just putting this out there. I don't care if you do any moves. Like, I really don't. Like, we're in different universes, guys. Do whatever moves you guys want. But, like, you done this insane springboard cutter off the ladder. I was like, that tweet timed perfectly. And I've never messaged him, just being like, dude, fair play, well done. I like Sammy. But if you put us in the ring with each other, there's going to be a difference.
The closest we ever had was the Fatal 4-Way, right? That was the closest we had to use him?
And we had a lot of fun in that one. I sucked on his finger, he sucked on my finger. A bit weird now looking back on that. But just know that I'm a grown-ass man now, mate. Like, I'm a grown-ass man, like, just... I'm in the battering business. I batter people now. Like, I mean, look, I can still do the crits and I can do the flippy-doos and I can do all of that, mate. But just like... I just don't think you really want this elbow smashing you in the back of the head, brother. I think that's the worst thing you could want. So really think hard about it. If you generally want it, you generally want some, I'll happily come down. You just got to get this, like, it's not even in my hands. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, if it wants to happen, like, we can make it happen. But you just got to nut up, bruv. And it's just like, oh, show up. I'll slap you. I'm in the slapping business, the battering business, and the taking gold business.
You brought it up with your elbow, the hidden blade. That move's probably the most fierce move in all of pro wrestling. And then you managed to make it even worse by going on the top rope and doing it. You create so much, and it's insane. What blew my mind is when you started winning matches after. Like, that was kind of like your finisher. At the time when you were in Rep Pro, you were just murdering people with that move. And it's like, has the Stormbreaker now lessened? Is the hidden blade now the strongest move in your arsenal currently?
No, into the Stormbreaker unless I really need to dig into it. Like guys like Okada, I like count it. Like unless it's a G1 final, I don't count it. But I know if I hit that move, it's game over. But when it comes to it, man, it's an elbow to the skull, a back swinging elbow. And I know, like, in a lot of combat sports, if opponent's on a downwards knee, you're not allowed to throw elbows. I'm not in combat sports, man. I'm in pro wrestling. The rules are very relaxed. And when I swing this boy, I have knocked out Ibushi. I have taken the heads off of Michael Oku by just repeatedly doing it. That man has never been the same since then. So it's just the thing, man. Like, it's a dangerous move. And I know how deadly it is. I remember Trent Beretta pulling me to one side saying, stop doing that move. Tell me, fuck off. And honestly, I looked at him like, fuck off. Like, I'm going to keep doing it because it's winning me matches. It's knocking people out. Why would I not do it? Because it's hurting people. We're in pro wrestling. Like, get over it.
Agreed. So let's talk about Michael Oku. Let's talk about that match because, wow, that match, in my opinion, so you're going to hate this, but to me, Shingo and Ospreay does not beat Michael Oku and Ospreay, in my opinion. That match was absolutely fantastic. The way I told my friend about this, I was like, listen, want to see Ospreay kill a man? This is the match. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you know, this is probably the worst I've ever seen Ospreay go in a wrestling match. Like, this man had no care what he was doing, who he was getting in the ring with. So talk to me, what's going through your head? So you said this earlier in the interview, like, I can get so much more evil in story or in wrestling. What level was that right there? Hitting 8 hidden blades, you know, getting his woman involved, you know, going to his family for bringing him there. Tell me all that.
Well, trust me, it's like I could have ended that match whenever I wanted to end that match. After that, I think it was like the 3rd hidden blade. I hear him like he kicked out of one, and I'm not even saying he kicked out. He rolled his shoulder. I did a lazy cover. He rolled his shoulder up. At that point, the referee has been instructed that he has no leniency. He's being extremely lenient, and he is just allowed, there's no referee stoppage. Because that's what happened on the first one. I drove my elbow into his skull so many times that the referee thought it was best for his safety to stop the match. Now, Oku asked for that to be removed from it. I'm fine with that. More than happy to do it. I'll just keep battering you. I will pound my elbow up your head time after time after time. I'll just keep picking you up. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? You signed it. This is all your fault. I invited his mum and his missus and his brother. I bought them front row tickets. And it's just like, that to me is just, it's mind games. And he accepted it. Like, fair play to him, man. You walked into that knowing. You walked into it knowing that you're going to get battered. While your mum's there, while your missus is there. And trust me on this, that Tartler missus puts her hands on me again. You don't want to know what I do. Like, when you're on that side of the fence, on this side of the fence, and you want to get in my face and you want to throw a drink into my face, you're lucky I just grabbed your hair and that was it, right? I hate stuff like that. Because then, like, I give you credit where credit's due. The dad, of all people, the dad, he tried to save her and just pushed him back. Easy. Oh, you give him credit, like, he awoken something in him. But then he just got angry. And he got sloppy, and he got big openings. He had time after time where he could have pinned me, could have made a submission count more, but he didn't. He's exhausted. I'm good at these games. Like, I don't think people realize this. Once you exit past that 25-minute mark, you're in my game. I have endurance. I have a stamina bigger than Tony Khan's wallet. Right? You can't match me on this kind of stuff. Once you get past that 25-minute mark, you're in my game. So that's it. But you just need to understand, man. Like, I played by the rules. I don't cheat. I don't low blow. I don't scry. I don't use weapons. I go by the book. And the book said no referee stoppage.
I gotta ask though. There was this one scene that no fan can like look away from, and it's when you won. You got blood all over your face. You're staring down, and his missus is just banging on your chest, pleading. I need to know, because like you said, you want to know what makes killers do. What was going through your head right there, knowing that you just won, but you don't give a damn about the match. I don't think you really cared actually about the match itself, because to you that was just a match. Not like it was to him with all these mind games, but like, what was going through your head at that moment?
But when she was attacking me,
and you just had no care, yeah.
She spat him. She spat in my face. She called me a monster. That's the biggest compliment I've ever got. And it excited me. It just made me smile. And at that point there, I felt like those serial killers that I was watching. I felt nothing. I felt good about it. And I felt like it was just a point to be made. That, like, I can keep doing this over and over again. The field in British wrestling has been lapped. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's been completely lapped. And that was a full stop on it. So now, British wrestling needs to up its game. I don't care. I do not care. Like, that man got into the ring fully knowing that his life is in stake. That the referee he only can count 1, 2, 3 or a submission. That's it. And I pounded that boy's head off my elbow so many times. I could have ended it whenever I wanted to. I didn't. I've got to teach people a lesson.
Yeah, so explain to me now that you are this is you're the first ever undisputed Rev Pro undisputed British heavyweight champion, because you combine both titles. That makes you the first ever, correct? If I'm not wrong on that. Because you combine both. You're the first ever to hold that title.
I don't know, and I don't care, to be honest with you. Is that at the end of the day, like, it's just, there is no one disputing it, is there?
So who's out there? Who do you like? It's the point where you're at this company, right? You have this title, but no one is good enough to face you for. You got Ricky Knight, who's coming at you. Ricky Knight Jr., who's like, I want another shot, even though I've had so many shots. You know, I want more shots. And you have Gabriel Kidd, who's like, it's my time now. And it's like, guys, I heard the story before. It's like playing music now. You say this, get in the ring with me, I beat you, and then you're not, that's it. But then you keep coming back. So it's like, what do you do now? As the champion, what do you got to do now in Rev Pro just to be like, shit, what do I got to do to get a good, match at this point?
I just don't care, mate. Like, at the end of it, I'm collecting my paychecks. They can keep coming. Like, I don't mind. Like, Ricky can have, infinite title shots as long as he earns it. And in my mind, he earned it. You know what I mean? Like, he's been putting in the work. He's a young, hungry... I think he's, 21 years old. But Jesus Christ, the talent that kid has is amazing. One of these days, you're going to be a big star. Unfortunately, you've entered in my era. So, wait till 5 years after, maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm doing something else. And then maybe I'll just hand the title back. But just until then, everyone in British wrestling needs to step up. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it's just I run this place. Everybody who said that they loved and cared about British wrestling has left, or they've hid behind doors. But you know what I mean? They've hid. They've run away. I'm actually here fronting every single fan out. I'm fronting every single wrestler out. I'm calling guys out, and I'm saying, come on, prove to me. Literally anyone, prove to me that you're better than me. You can't. And that's why I always say, look, there will always be a debate who the best wrestler in the world is, because there's always different promotions, different categories. There's never been a whole king. There's juggernaut promotions going head to head with one another, and you can't really decipher. But when it comes to British wrestling, there is nothing anyone can say. I own this place. I run it. I live it. I breathe it. I smell it. Everything goes through me. And you know what? It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. I've given my body, my back, my neck, every single part of my body to trust. I deserve this. So, you know, forgive me for wanting to, produce more British stars. Forgive me, I understand. The British wrestling scene right now, it's been on decline because of the pandemic and other things that have been going on. But, I'm here, literally building up right now in Japan. But, I'm literally grabbing it and hoisting it above my head by myself. That speaks volumes of the person that I am. So until someone, I don't know, gets fired from WWE, or just I don't know, someone gets fired, comes at me, I'm just waiting. I'm just sitting here, here's my tea. I'm just waiting. You done yet? Come on, mate. Any minute now, of course.
Yeah, well, collect those paychecks. You know what I mean? Collect those, paychecks.
I'm collecting all the money, mate, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, I can see it. You're living the life right now. You get the Versace.
Do you know what makes me laugh even more? Andy Quildan actually messaged a champion of another United Kingdom-based promotion, which I'm sure you can work it out. Found out it was wrestling Will Ospreay and bottled it. True story. True story.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to.
That's the one that'll get me in trouble. Like, everyone will work it out. They found out I was wrestling Will Ospreay and they fucking bottled it.
Listen, people don't want to lose. People don't want to lose to the greatest wrestler. You know what I mean? People don't want to lose to the greatest British wrestler. It looks bad on their end, and those people are weak. You know what I mean? They're not there. They're not at that level. So let's talk about current. Let's talk about exactly right now as we're coming down to the end. You know, New Japan Cup. This isn't a big milestone for you because you did it last year. Could definitely do it this year. What is going through your head knowing that you got friends in it as well? So there could potentially be crossfire within an empire in this. Or better yet, you can get back in the ring with people that you have, you know, grudges with. Like, there's still unfinished business. So tell me all about that.
I mean, there's a thing we've already discussed, and it's fair game. If I happen to come across Aaron, we've already discussed, it's just fair game afterwards. We'll shake hands afterwards. But it is at the end of it, United Empire have got to stand tall in this. And we've got to try and win this back. And the only difference between this year and last year, there's 48 guys in this one. This is a big bracket tournament, okay? This is going to be a hard one. I'm not going to completely underplay this. This is going to be real hard on the body. So I'm ready. I'm ready to put my all into this, and I'm excited. I'm very much excited.
Is there any strategy you're going with it? Like, you know, like again, when I mean with strategy, I mean you've been murdering in the indie, like in the outside of it, you've been murdering it, doing it, winning matches everywhere. Is there anything that you picked up on as you were in quarantine, as you were injured? You know, something that you were like, oh, I got this. You don't have to tell me what it is, but is it like Ospreay from last year is very much different than Ospreay right now?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I could easily digress in right now, but like my strategy right now is just one at a time. Because if you start looking at the next guy, like I know after me and Bushi, it's El Fantasma, and he was calling his shot, and like once again he's trying to like get a name off of me again. He relies on Will Ospreay to make him somewhat relevant. It says it all. But you know, like I'm not focusing on him. First of all, I'm focusing on Bushi. Allow me to do with that, and I've beaten Bushi so many times before. But I'm not going to downplay it. Bushi's one of the best going, man. He's one of the best junior heavyweights going. It can just be the mist. It could be a roll-up. So I've got to be on my toes. I've got to be prepared for it. But, you know, like, once again, who's operating at this level? No one. Why? Because I'm Will Ospreay and I'm on another level. Not even just a catchphrase. That's the best bit about this anymore. It's not even a catchphrase, I say. It's undeniable. Nobody works at my level.
Yeah, so let's change a little bit from wrestling. Since about Spider-Man, you know, I know you're a big Spider-Man guy. I'm a big Spider-Man guy. We talked so much about it, and it was the movie No Way Home. What was your so there were leaked photos, and I know you're on social media. I know you're on there. Did you ever believe any of the leaked photos? Like, oh, there's Andrew talking to Toby, or you know, there's this hand there.
I just knew it. I had it in my gut. The moment I saw the Green Goblin, I was just like, Toby's back, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I love all three Spider-Men. Love all three of them, but Toby's just OG. Like, I grew up on Toby. So, like, and even, like, in the Spider-Man 3 series, man, I still like it. I don't care. Like, if people, like, said, oh, no, he ruined it. I was like, no, I still liked it at the end of it because he's OG. And then, like, Andrew, I think it was, I mean, there's fucking spoilers coming out of it, but, like, just, I think we really underestimated how deep his character, we really need to see the completion of his character because there's so much left that has not been said yet, and just like I think there's a lot of trauma behind that character that needs to be explored. And Tom Holland's is sick. Like, he's such a good Spider-Man. Like, I love seeing him as Spider-Man. He's such a good dude.
So talk to me about how you were at the theater, because you told me a funny story. Probably don't remember, but tell me a hilarious story. How like you would push anybody, you would sit there like a king. You would watch this movie. Talk to me about it. How happy were you? What was the buzz when they actually showed up, and the way they did it in a funny way of like you're not that Spider-Man, like
man, it was everyone just popped. Like, it was so good because I was out there with the Aussie boys, and we were sitting there and we was waiting to like I was sitting on because he went showing me Peter Parker, and because I saw like the black spot, I was like, oh, is this like, are we underestimated? Is this like the symbiote Spider-Man gonna show up? And like, And then obviously it was Andrew, and then everyone fucking popped, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is it. And then when Toby was done so relaxed, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm here. And it was just kind of like, you have no idea this is messing with all of our emotions. You have no idea.
Yeah, you
then,
know.
That moment when he just goes like that and shows that hint of the old Spider-Man costume, I was just like, this is the... Honestly, I was thinking about this. Why is this not nominated for, like, Oscars and stuff like that? Is it just because it is a Marvel film? Because, like, that, we've got way more of an emotional connection. And, like, I think that speaks more volumes. That most of the Oscars are more or less based on, like, true characters and stuff like that. But this is actually... Everyone has a genuine emotional connection to these made-up characters. These guys that don't actually exist. Surely that's way more an achievement, like, in my mind. So I just believe that should just get all the awards under the sun. I think it was the most well thought out. It literally, Marvel just went, let's just give the fans what they want. You want Toby? Here he is. You want Andrew? Here he is. You want the completion? Here he is. Like, Marvel just gave us literally heaven on a plate. And there's more to come. That's the best bit. There's more to come.
Yeah, you posted a photo of them doing the meme, the whole putting at each other. That was all featured in the extended cut, where there's going to be more, footage of them talking. It's going to be more backstage stuff of how actually happy they were to be there. And, rumors have it that in the Doctor Strange movie, since Sam Raimi, is directing it, Toby will be back for it, and in the next Venom movie, we can get Andrew, and we are going to get Symbiote, because that's why they, untold that's why he has an untold story, because they're using him for something in the future that may cause with Symbiote stuff, because he wanted to battle an alien from space, so he's going to, most likely. So,
there's so many avenues that we can explore.
What is one avenue you'd like to explore? Again, I know it's you don't want to put it out there, but what is if you had to say, what's your ultimate fan theory you want for the current? I don't know what's better. If you had to tell a story, what is the final story you'd want to tell for yourself for Spider-Man?
Oh man, don't put me on the spot like this because I haven't really thought about it. I've just been enjoying the ride, just because for me, I want to see Andrew as Venom. I would love to see that side of him, because there is so much emotional trauma behind that character of he has to live with the fact that the dad died because of him and he wasn't there quick enough because of him. So I think you could really get a horrible self-hatred Venom, and he's lashing out onto other people. So I would love to see that side of things. I really want to see old Spider-Man though. Toby is he's a little bit more battered, but he's still going. Do you remember that scene? He's just going like that. He's like, oh, my back.
Yeah.
This is I love the fact that he's kept going. They've told the story. He's just kept going. So I would love to see do you know what? I'd always like to see the end of that Spider-Man, because I really think they could do a real emotional story about that, kind of how James Bond's. Oh my god, I might have just ruined a spoiler for everyone there. But there's but I think they're sometimes the better stories to be all right, we need an end, and I would like an end to Andrew, and I would like an end to Toby. So I'd like to see that side of things play out.
And what's your take on Tom's ending in that movie? Tom legit has to live with not knowing anybody and nobody knowing anything about him. It's he's alone, completely alone.
There was a quote that it's obviously horrible that he's dealing with it, right? But there's something that's kind of in a weird way magical, because he gets to fall in love with MJ all over again. And I think that's kind of a cool story in itself as well. So we're going to get to see that journey of him making that girl fall in love with him all over again. I mean, it might not work, who knows? So I think it's just a real magical story, and the fact that he's got that real shit Spider-Man suit really makes it it's actually started from the beginning and working his way up. So I like it. I love how it's going, and just I can't tell you enough. I wish wrestling was more like Spider-Man.
Well, you were the closest one to ever do it. It's sad that you stopped legally. You had to, but you were legitimately the closest one to ever do it, and the only one that's ever going to make it look as good as it was. So at least you can live with that, knowing that, if anyone ever had to say, if anyone ever Google Spider-Man wrestling, your photo would have to be the first thing that pops up at at the Kingdom with the mask and everything.
Maybe.
You had to
Okay.
kept that, right? You had to have kept that gear in your own. No, you really with the mask you sold all that.
I got rid of it, man. Like I don't like keeping my gear. I've just never been one of those guys. Like the only thing I'm keeping is that coat with Hannah Ryan, Rihanna, and Chris Jones' name in. I'm never going to get rid of that. That's going to stay in my. My dad has to go at me every time I get rid of gear. He's like, I want a museum. It's just like, hey.
Oh my god, that's amazing. All right, so we're talking about Spider-Man. One more thing we'll talk about is Assassin's Creed. When that movie came out, I know it's not as crazy as Spider-Man. I was curious what your take was on that movie. Well, did you have high hopes? Did you when you went to the theater? Did you have like high hopes for it? Like, oh, it's gonna be good. Yeah. Oof.
My expectations were so high, and kind of like, but I hope that they don't give up on it. I hope they go, all right, we didn't meet the mark on it. Let's do number 2. Let's because they still done the dive and the leap of faith and all that, but just like I wanted more, and just like I would really like if they debuted Ezio. I think that would be the start of it. I think even the Conor Kenway story is a real good story that needs to be told. The Black Flag story, and I think you could do so much with it, but just I don't know. Like I really wasn't sold on that Assassin's Creed, and like it was a real downfall for me because I really love Assassin's Creed. I think their stories are so good on the games. I'm playing Valhalla now.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. So I have a question. The robes that you have currently, is that also currently like inspired a little bit of Assassin's Creed, or is that its own thing completely now that you're doing?
But my own thing now, just because I'm mad into like Versace. To be honest with you, I am like mad into it, and I just thought like I've been working with Serena, Airhead Diva, who is a genius artist. She's so good at like putting ideas and like together, and I just give her like complete beautiful artwork of a jacket. So like a lot of my stuff is based off Versace.
All right. And one more thing I want to ask you about gears. Do you create your own designs, or did they do it? You create your own designs. So what?
I work with somebody. For the life of me, I can't actually say his name. I just have him on Instagram. Honestly, I can't. Like once again, this dyslexia coming in. I can't read it very well. But we work together to create like a real nice piece of artwork that just. I'm very much along the lines of this. Like I can't stand like certain fabrics on my gear though. So like he'll draw it up, but then I will sit down with a guy and I will like put the fabrics where I want the fabrics to be. Like I'm very much entwined with my fabric picking.
How much time does that take? Does that take almost a whole day? 'Cause your gear is.
No, not really, dude. I've got a knack to it because like all I've got to do is match the color concept with the fabrics, but the fabrics have got to make sense. Like I'll put in different shades of green just to like bring out other bits of like the gold. It's a horrible thing to go through, but just like it's one of my things where I'm very fussy on certain things. Like I mean, the Wrestle Kingdom gear is very peacock-esque. I wanted to go with like an intergalactic peacock space warrior. So I went like, and I know that sounds mad when we say it, but just like instantly, like to me, like that's my ADHD coming in, being like, I want to be like an intergalactic peacock warrior and go down that route. And then straight away, like it looks so much better than most of the people's gear in the wrestling world. Like I focus and I hone in on that shit. I'm so detailed with my designs.
You gotta name most of your like on social media. You gotta like once in a while post the gear, and you gotta just give me the name because the names are like insanely like that. That was incredible. I don't think I've ever heard of like intergalactic peacock. Like wow, you gotta start like giving out these names. That's insane for these gears.
But I think of like Power Rangers and stuff like that, and just like think of like all right, well like you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I'm just a mad nerd sometimes.
Doesn't hurt to be in there. So let's talk about the upcoming gear. I'm a big gear guy. If you can share even the smallest detail of like color or something, because
nothing in the works yet. Nothing
in the works yet. That's so shocking coming from you because like gear is.
I think one of my detriments that I have is just like when fans have wanted to imitate my costumes or anyway by like cosplaying. I've already moved on to the next one. So like, I'm gonna basically do two gears a year.
Okay.
So it's gonna my Wrestle Kingdom one, and then maybe a G1 one, which obviously, like, I mean, a little bit of a spoiler. If I'm probably like 9 times out of 10 going to be in the G1 unless there's another. pandemic. So if everyone could just stop being dirty and coughing and sneezing on one another, create these fucking weird variants, because it's getting better now. Like, I can slowly see the world reopening up. So if everyone could just be clean, that would be so helpful.
All right. We are coming down to the final question. Again, I can't thank you enough for all this time that you've given me. This year, you've mentioned a lot that you're new you, better version of you. You're not doing things for yourself, you're doing things for others now. Every, paycheck that you're making, going to Samaritans, going to help out. You want to be a better version of you. It's amazing that you even, you take the time to even, read what people say about you. And if it's, a false comment, you will acknowledge and be like, I don't know why you said this. If I've noticed that you've, called people out, don't say this about me. I don't know why you're saying this. Things like that.
Once again, it goes back to when we was talking about it a while ago, where I was talking about, sometimes I get mixed up with the character and the person, and sometimes I can't tell which is which sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, back then, I'm talking in the character sense, do you know what I mean? Care people really don't believe me on that. But just, I'm so entwined now to try, and after, what I did with Paul, I really helped him out, and I've really got him back on his feet. I can't do that for everyone. I know I can't, because there are some things that I'm just that can't be undone, and I think there's some things that I need to stay away from, because I don't really understand it. And once again, I'm not a good juggler, but just where it comes to people's health, I have constant dreams, real bad dreams, where I don't sleep very well. I have real bad insomnia. And my dreams are that I wake up and another one of my friends have gone. And it scares me, it frightens me. And I just I can't get over, honestly, if you type in my name to Twitter, even just my surname, the hate there, it's awful. It's honestly, it depresses me. And it's just man, these people don't even know who I am. So, and once again, they could take some of this out of context. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of newsreels where they twist my words and whatever. And it depresses me so much. But it's just I want to just be able to show people that I'm putting I'm putting the right resources when because Samaritans was something that Ryan used to use during his time when he was alive, and what Alice told me anyway. And it's just I want people to know that there are options, and that you can talk to someone, and you can go along the right ways of just you're not doing this alone. All right, I know it's a stupid cliche, because a lot of people have been saying it these days, and then they'll go straight into tearing somebody down, and and once again, I'm guilty of it. I'm totally guilty of it. I own it. I put my hands up to it, but just know that I'm trying to balance this weird Jekyll and Hyde, but my main thing is just I want to make sure that they're getting the right resources, and so they have no idea who I am, to be honest with you, but they keep seeing every now and again, every 2 months, 2 weeks or something like that, there'll be just a boatload of money going towards them, just wondering where this is coming from. And it is honestly, I'm sticking by my word. Every single singles match that I do, or every match I have on the indies, I donate a portion of my money to Samaritans, because I just, it terrifies me knowing that there are thoughts that go through people's heads like that, and just, I've been there as well. I've been there completely. I'm with you guys, but just know that there are just you can get out of this, and just we can all get through it together. It's going to suck. It's going to be painful, and it's going to get some real deep-rooted emotions out of you. But I prefer if you guys were here, so then that way we can all go through this together.
And again, I don't know. I know I send you essays when we text. When I send the DMs. I don't know if you read all of it, because I know it's overwhelming to just read essays at this point. But I also acknowledge, I told you that because of how important this was to me, because of how important Samaritans is to you, I also donated, just because this happened. And I didn't donate a lot, but I hope however much I donated, it worked out.
Anything helps, though. That's the thing. It's not about just how much you donate or anything along those lines. It's just about, if you're willing to do something like that, you clearly are showing the right signs that you want to help. And you sometimes. Do you know the worst thing is? I think a lot of the times people want to help, but they don't know how to. So that's a way of helping. You're at least putting it towards the right people who can help in those situations. I don't know the best way of dealing with this. I really don't. I only know because my mate Paul Robertson was in the worst state he's ever been in, and I needed to be there for him. And a lot of it is just making sure I'm around, working out together, like partying together, like, and just being around him and just making sure that he's all right. And the worst thing is, I didn't even find out. Like, a friend told me. So then I had to go, like, so that's how hard it is to try and tell. Like, he couldn't even tell somebody who's been around. I'd found out through someone else. So it's very hard to get it off your chest. And I know how difficult it is. And sometimes you don't know how to help. But being there is half the battle, and just listening. Like, sometimes you just got to listen. And, like, maybe that's sometimes my biggest detriment. Sometimes I talk too much, but it's just, I just want people to be okay. I think that's the thing. My whole ambition towards this year is to mend any, like, past grievances I have. And, like, I've mended quite a lot, to be fair. Like, I'm actually, like, so happy about some of the things that I've, like, some of the relationships I've been able to mend. But just, I'm so happy that, like we're putting the foot in the right direction. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to see any more like mad like internet quarrels with one another where everyone's like just like banding it together just to like bury other people. And I do get it because we're in a wrestling world and trash talking is a lot of how you sell the match. But it's just like in the same sense, I want to make sure people are okay, and that health is the most important thing, especially this because like with an injury you work on it and stuff like that. It's no different to an injury. You got to work on it. So I just hope people are okay. And I think that's the final message I'd like to say. Is just like, I hope everybody is just like doing okay. And if you're not, talk to Samaritans. Like honestly, they're so good with all of this stuff. Like you ever have any suicidal thoughts? You ever have any like emotional feelings and you just want to talk to somebody? Just talk to them. They're incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in the bio, the donations link, how I found it. I'm going to put it in the bio. Anyone who has anything and wants us help out, definitely go do so. Will, as the last question I have for you is just how are you doing? I think that's probably the most important thing to actually ask in the final interview is just like...
Man, that was hard. Like when I was talking about like 2020, honestly, that was really like I apologize for that. Really, but like I think when you're in this environment and just like I haven't really spoke about it other than like to the people that I love, and when you kind of speak openly about it and then you kind of realise how far you've come from it did actually get me. So like I apologise for like almost losing it there, but other than that, man, like I feel fucking great.
I'm happy to hear. All right, so as we are going to the end, tell people where they can follow you, how people support you. So I know you have so many. Say it again.
Don't follow me.
Don't follow. I knew you were gonna say that too. I was like, probably gonna say that. So okay, instead of don't follow you, what should people do to support you? Like, what? Where should they check out? What? Is there anything that you're like?
Support New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like this, it's my bread and butter. I love this place with every bit of fiber in my damn body. Support New Japan Pro Wrestling. Support Revolution Pro Wrestling. The locker room that we have there is so good. We're all working together to make like a such more better product for British wrestling. And he's actually putting his finger out and he's doing so much more work in the production side of things. And support Samaritans and just, for God's sake, support one another. Look after one another because that is the most important thing.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, Will. We'll see you guys next time.